BCoT Live, where we talk about college life, discussing different topics with different guests. I'm Tegan, Marketing Assistant at BCoT and host of BCoT Live, and today I'm here with Kelly from the Mental Wellbeing team.
Hi.
So on today's podcast, we will be talking about mental wellbeing at BCoT, but can you just share a bit of your day-to-day job role of what you do?
My day-to-day job role really varies, so it's a bit of everything, to be honest. So some days I will see students that are regularly booked in, and I see them for a course of maybe 6 to 12 weeks to go through and help them with some coping strategies for all sorts of different things. I can also be called out as well. So if there's been an incident, say with somebody at home, and they've come into college and they are in signs of distress, or they're having panic attacks, or just feeling generally under the weather, I can get called out then. I'm also a first aider, so I am mental health first aid trained as well. So I will attend call outs, and sometimes I pop up in PD sessions where I will help the RAP tutors deliver some of those, depending on the topics that are being studied at the time.
Great. And how does the college support mental wellbeing?
So the aim at BCoT really is to make sure that we are looking at prevention and early intervention. So when somebody is showing those initial signs of having some sort of distress, or they're going through a difficult time, the quicker that we can get in with people and kind of tailor things to them. And we aim to be really flexible as well. So if somebody is really struggling with their day-to-day timetables and coming into college, we look to try and be as flexible as we possibly can. So we're working with them all as an individual.
Cool. And are there any resources available for these students that are looking for
Yeah,
help?
we've got lots and lots of resources. So we have the BCoT digital page, which is just full of resources. And it's amazing. And that's available not only for students but for staff as well. And it is there, and there is every sort of heading on there. So it's not just about looking at when somebody has a mental health crisis, but actually there's looking at all of those ways to stay well. So that it looks into well-being, healthy relationships, healthy diets, exercise. There are just topics on absolutely everything, and it's really easy just to kind of click in. Gives you some hints and tips on there, gives you other resources to go on to, so we link into other places. We've got posters up around college as well, where you can literally scan those barcodes and they take you off to websites.
Yeah, it's so easy now, isn't it?
It's really, really easy. And then of course we have all the different PD sessions as well. So we try to hit things quite early on. So when students are just starting with us, we look at wellbeing, we look at coping, we look at all the safeguarding things that we do around college, so that we introduce them to people such as their RAPs. Danuta, who is the college nurse, we introduce Mo, myself, and then the team of counsellors as well.
Yeah, and with that counselling as well, it's not just for students as well, it's for staff.
It's for anyone, so it's for staff and students, and they kind of go, sometimes there's a little bit of a waiting list, but that's where I kind of step in. So if there is a waiting list, I can step in and I can help students have that weekly check-in, give them some of those coping strategies until counselling kind of kicks in. But yeah, like you say, it's for staff and students as well.
And how do we promote mental health and, good mental health? Because mental health is just a general thing. You can have good mental health, you can have bad mental health, you can be fluctuating throughout the week. How do we promote the good mental health within the college?
I think we do it really well. Like I say, the PD sessions is a big one, and we don't kind of shy away from stuff. We will make sure that we kind of hit it head on. So we do look at things like self-harm and suicide. We look at anxiety. Coming up to the exams, we've got the big push on all of the exam stress. So we kind of make sure that we're going in and teaching people these are some of the coping strategies before they actually need them, so that we keep pushing that and we make sure that that's there throughout their PD. But then we have a lot of the days throughout the year as well, so we take on all those international days. So we've got the mental health week that's coming up. We will put a big push on with that with students, wearing different colours, doing different activities,
doing this podcast.
We are doing this podcast. We just get involved in a lot of stuff, so that it'll be the Men's Suicide Awareness Week. So we make sure we we take in a lot of that stuff, and we encourage the students to get involved. And I think they have done lots of different fundraising. There was some breast cancer awareness fundraising that was going on, so we kind of get a lot of the students involved.
And I think it is about the awareness as well before it actually happens, because you can have these starting effects of bad mental health coming on, but how do you know if you've never experienced it before? And there's also that awareness with the staff as well. So a lot of staff have had a mental health first aid training, like I have, but I'm not actually like student facing, so I'm in a corporate role and I don't really see many students, but if I were to see a student, I would know what to do now.
You would know what to do, and you'd know what resources we've got available as well. So like the when we did the wellbeing few days as well, we made sure that we brought outside agencies in, so we link in with all of those agencies, so things like the bereavement counselling, and it's not just about like mental health. We tie in with like domestic abuse, we tie in with all of those different things, all of those different groups that are out there, so that people can understand what there is available. And all the physical checks, I know myself and the nurse, we did the drink and drug awareness, which is another big one that we do in the PD sessions with students, and also looking at testicular cancer and breast cancer as well. So showing students this is how you check, giving them the little check cards, giving them the little prosthetic ones so that they can understand, how would I do that for myself. So it's all about them as a whole rather than just their mental health. It's looking at everything.
As well as their physical health as well.
Absolutely.
And you don't really get that anywhere else.
No.
Like, you go to a college and you think, oh, I'm just going to be here to learn. But you learn a lot of life skills. And obviously, a lot of these students, I say this all the time, they've gone through COVID. They've not had that, like, one-to-one facing. They've not had that physical, like, well-being to be able to take it into practice quite a lot. So then this is such a hard time for them to go back into the real world and actually like, oh god, like I'm in a room with like all these people now. Like even staff struggle with that as well. It's not just students, it's like everyone, and you need to make sure that
it's that resilience building, and it's learning those social skills that we missed out on. So we noticed that with COVID that people are really struggling just with building friendships again, and kind of knowing boundaries. We've had really big issues with boundaries and things like that, and that comes as part of people's well-being. All of a sudden people are not understanding, where are the boundaries, when do I stop, am I allowed to send 50 text messages to someone, am I allowed to track them on their location, is that right?
But
to
now
be doing
it's gotten
that?
so easy, like Snapchat. It's
Really
very weird. Snapchat, you can just go on there. I always stalk my partner to make sure he's alright, and
we do it for those reasons, for people's safety,
but
and there are
some
some
can
ways.
take it too far.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we kind of tie in as well, with the digital team, and Scott is very hot on that kind of well-being there, your digital well-being, and how much time are you spending still post-COVID on all of those things. I mean, it was amazing while we had COVID. Who would have thought that we'd have all those lessons online? But now we've kind of got really, really stuck, and it's quite scary to see that some people can be spending 7 hours a day on their phone.
And without college, I think they would just be in bed on their phones like the entire time. Like, I can admit, I go on TikTok quite a lot, and I just like scroll through all like loads, and I just won't stop for 2 hours. But I understand that these students need to have that, like, they don't have that boundary to stop themselves, and that I don't know what the word is, the discipline to stop themselves, and that needs to be like brought upon when you go to college, and you need to see what effect it has as well, because social media has a big effect on mental health.
And we make so many friendships on social media, and actually we don't know who those people are, and we've kind of lost those skills on how to get through the rockiness that comes with friendships, those disagreements, and they are just disagreements. But I think people have kind of lost those skills because it was so easy just to press a button and hang up when you're on social media, or cut someone off, or just don't talk to them. Whereas now that we're coming back into the real world, people are really struggling and don't understand that it's okay to have disagreement. It's okay to have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
But actually that doesn't mean that is equating to bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about, okay, come on, how do we build these friendships? How do we build proper friendships? Because without them, we know that it's impacting people's mental health, and
definitely.
they're really suffering. Yeah.
How does the college actually address the stigma around mental health?
We are quite hot on that, and I think it really helped when we have popped that button on the new dashboard now, so the speak up button.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we are very hot on people being able to use that button to report when they are concerned for themselves,
mm-hmm.
for their own well-being, for the well-being of maybe their friends or somebody else who's at college, but also for things that are deemed kind of inappropriate. So if you are seeing people that are using inappropriate language, so anything that is kind of racist, anything that is homophobic, transphobic, anything that you just feel actually is overstepping the boundary, and sometimes people don't realise we've kind of been thrown back into those relationships again, and sometimes people don't understand personal space, and you can't become too close to people. So we really kind of encourage that at college, to kind of speak up. And we challenge that as well. I believe we do challenge that as staff. We're
definitely.
really kind of hot on racism.
Mm-hmm.
We are really hot on all that homophobic stuff. And we will challenge people when we see it happening. Definitely.
So how can the students get involved in promoting mental health at the college? So we have some clubs, don't we? So there are different ones like chess,
book club,
dance club, and just things like that, which also help build endorphins and make you happy.
It's
general.
all about well-being, physical well-being, and actually we've got like the table tennis club and the badminton club. And it's just encouraging people to be a little bit more active rather than sitting there on their screen time. And actually it's nice for them to go across, because other people will be there. They get into matches and they make new friendships. So they'll meet other people who've got similar interests. We've got the LGBTQ plus group as well, which is really supportive of each other, and they kind of understand those different things that they're going through, the different challenges they may face. So we kind of encourage all of those clubs. We have outside agencies that do come in throughout the year, and they come in and do some of those different days with us. And we just make sure that we go across all of those international days, really, and we make those aware, and making sure that we are paying attention to things like Ramadan, all of those things, so that we are very aware of what different cultures are doing at different times throughout the year, just so that people are aware, and they can be a little bit more understanding to other students and members of staff that are around them as well.
So obviously there's exams with college, and that would take quite a big toll on some students' mental health, because all they're doing is just like revising and not hanging out with their friends. It's not...
We have covered this just recently in the PD sessions coming back after Easter, and it's about making sure that they balance that time out. So some students may find that they absolutely just want to cram, and they just are just there every single night trying to revise, trying to study. And we know from looking at research that actually after 45 minutes you need to take a break. We know that we do that across the college. We give them small breaks throughout the day when they're in lessons, and it's about putting that balance back in, because if you try to do too much, you are just going to burn out. And actually when it comes to exam day, you won't have a clue what you're doing. But we do say that when it comes up to exams, so it's about things like making sure you get proper sleep the night before, turning off your devices. We go on about that all the time. Turn the devices off. Don't have screen time the night before. Don't try and cram the night before. Make sure that when you're getting up in the morning, you're getting yourself a good healthy breakfast. Come into college, we give out the free breakfast on college days up until 8:45.
It will state in the canteen that there is free breakfast for people who are having exams.
So that's a big push, that actually you need to have some brain power. Come in, have your free breakfast. It's available all year through anyway for students. And there's just that really big push on, and actually don't panic. Don't panic about it. It's
easier said than done.
It is easier said than done. It's exam time and everybody wants to panic. But actually this is just showing your progression. This is just an opportunity to show, what do I know, what don't I know. And some people won't hit that target straight away, but they will have progressed from the year before, and any progression is a step forward. And that's what we kind of show people. Don't panic. We're here.
Don't panic.
Come and speak to us. Come and have a chat with us. Come and have a bacon sandwich with us in the morning. And we'll
that sounds good.
We just want everything to be really as relaxed as possible. And everyone's going to go through stress. Everyone goes through stress with driving tests, but I guess there's more of a reward at the end of that.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
so people are like, oh yeah, I can do that because actually I'm going to be out driving.
Yeah.
We are just, that's all we're doing now with these things. This is just another stepping stone onto something bigger that you want to do.
Yeah.
So stay focused. Any help you need, you just need to come and shout.
Yeah.
And we're all here for everyone.
In the Haven.
In the Haven.
Yeah.
I'm in the Haven. But so the Raps are around, Janita is around.
Mm-hmm.
Mo is really good. Mo will take you if anybody's really stressed and needs to let off a bit of steam. Mo is really good. He will take you over. He will get the boxing bags out. And brilliant way to let off some steam. Twice a week.
Have you done that before?
I've done that. I've taken some students in there this week and we've had the bag out. I didn't do boxing. I did get on a treadmill and have a little bit of a walk. Yeah.
Bit of a walk, yeah.
So yeah, and we can do that. And any wellbeing sessions that I do with students, I'm happy to tailor them to the students.
Yeah.
So if it means getting a boxing bag out for 20 minutes, having a box, that's what we need to do.
That's perfect,
and we'll do
isn't
it.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to BCoT Live. You can listen to this on Spotify and YouTube. Please like and subscribe. And thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.